Press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss a video from News Laundry.
So today we have with us Professor Apurvanand, and Professor Apurvanand teaches at Delhi University, and he teaches Hindi there, and he's also a political commentator, writes extensively for Wire, Scroll. So welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Your name has come up time and again with relation to Delhi riots, and the police investigated you on August 3, and they also seized your phone. So what exactly happened on that day, and had you anticipated these events?
I won't say that I was shocked because this was in the air, and we knew from other sources and from the media that there was a theory floating around that the violence that hit Delhi in February, last days of February, was in fact a conspiracy hatched by people who were involved in any manner in the anti-CAA protest. We cannot forget that before the violence, Delhi elections had happened, and taking advantage of the campaign of Delhi elections, a violent hate campaign was launched against the anti-CAA protesters. And in that hate campaign, senior members of central cabinet, ranging from the Prime Minister, Home Minister, to other ministers, they participated, and they termed these protesters as enemies of the nation. And the Prime Minister, in a very sinister manner, said that
the Delhi protest support group, right? So you were questioned regarding that, and many other members of the same group were also questioned by the police, right? What was happening on that group, and what exactly led to this?
Well, the name of the group was Delhi Protest Solidarity Group. It was essentially a group meant to express solidarity, the protesters, anti-CAA protesters. Now, who these protesters were? These were mostly women, and these were not educated in the language of protest, because they were first-time protesters, homemakers mostly. They came out to express their anguish, and they sat there. But they also sought support of non-Muslims. Okay. So some friends decided to form a loose group to support these protest sites. I don't know whether you have been to Shaheen Bagh or not. I went there
I've been there, yeah.
at least thrice, because it was a 24/7 thing. So they said that please come and talk to us, and professors, teachers from universities, others.
The protesters approached.
It was a support group.
So the protesters approached the members.
I won't say whether they approached them or not. I don't know that.
Okay.
Because I was not the administrator of that group. So I don't know what was the method. But
some members of the Pinjra Tod group were accused of leading the protests and, influencing the women with their words and bringing them to Jafrabad and, doing the roadblock, which eventually, like, as the police say, which eventually led to the riots. So what do you think about that? Did you know about that? Was it discussed on that group?
I did come to know about the discussion from outside, and I tried to understand it because I knew Pinjra Tod's activity in the university. They were basically a group concerned with gender justice and freedom for women, young women, on the campus and elsewhere. And I think I assume that this was the reason they got attracted to these protests, because these were women-led protests. And Pinjra Tod, young girls or young women, felt that it was their duty as co-citizens to be there in their solidarity. But I don't know what was the nature of their relationship, because I don't know Pinjra Tod intimately. I know them very superficially. As a teacher, I have seen their activities on the campus, and they have done some excellent work on the campus for women students, and that has irritated, I would say, people who have patriarchal mindset and males, because they see all these activities unnecessary. Why should girls demand that hostels should remain open till 12 or 1 in the night. What business have girls? So this is the attitude towards Pinjra Tod. They are seen as disruptors. And I assume that this was the reason Pinjra Tod went there. But to say,
Recently, your colleague Hani Babu was also arrested, and you wrote an article for Scroll which was titled, "If we don't speak up against his arrest, then we'll lose India forever." So, do you think like the academic spaces and the spaces of dissent, even within the universities, are shrinking? And the second part of this question is that if they are, right, so are institutions and your students supporting you?
see, what actually gave me a lot of solace, I would say, and what was heartening was the support that I got from my students. And the biggest compliment I got from a very young student was that he never asked to think the way he does. He always asked us to think the way we can and the way we should. So, and I firmly believe that education is not indoctrination. I make my standpoint very clear. But if you are a student, I would urge you and I would, in fact, force you to question my standpoint and have your own standpoint. So that was quite heartening. But again, what it does, this kind of allegation.
To watch the full interview, you'll have to go to our website, newslaundry.com, and click on the subscribe button and choose a plan of your preference. So support independent media and pay to keep news free.